In the dim light of a forgotten archive, hidden deep within the bowels of an ancient library, a single parchment lay curled and yellowed with age. Its edges were brittle, and its surface marred with stains that hinted at centuries of neglect. To the untrained eye, it was merely a piece of old paper, perhaps insignificant, perhaps just another relic of a past that had long been buried. But to those who had heard whispers, who had listened closely to the murmurs passed down in secret, this was no ordinary artifact. This was the map, a map that promised wealth beyond imagination, knowledge lost to time, and a trail that no one had ever fully traced. Some claimed it was a legend, a fable told in the shadowed halls of secret societies. Others insisted it was real, a key to a treasure so vast and so carefully hidden that even kings and conquerors could not claim it. Its origins were shrouded in mystery. There were no official records of its creation, no signatures that could be verified, no accounts that placed it firmly in the hands of any known cartographer. Some historians dismissed it outright, labeling it a forgery or a fantastical story that had grown with each retelling. Yet the more skeptical voices tried to suppress its significance, the louder the fascination became. Scholars, adventurers, and clandestine seekers alike spoke of it in hushed tones, aware that even mentioning it might draw the attention of forces determined to keep it hidden. It was not merely a map. It was a symbol, a cipher of secrets, a challenge that had endured across centuries. As one gazed upon the parchment, intricate lines and symbols appeared to dance beneath the flickering candlelight. Mountains rose and fell, rivers twisted unnaturally, and islands appeared where none should exist. In the margins, strange glyphs were etched, almost imperceptible to the eye, forming patterns that seemed to suggest a code. Every detail seemed deliberate, as though the map itself was alive with intent, guarding its secret fiercely. Those who had tried to decipher it spoke of headaches, confusion, and even obsession. The map demanded patience, wit, and a willingness to question everything that was taken for granted about the known world. Legends claimed that those who pursued it found themselves drawn into labyrinths of deception. Some vanished without a trace, leaving behind only journals filled with cryptic warnings and incomplete notes. Others returned, but forever changed, speaking of lands that did not appear on any other map, treasures that could not be carried, and the eerie sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. It was as if the map itself tested the worthiness of those who dared to follow it, revealing only fragments to the patient and hiding the whole from the greedy. Yet despite the danger, the allure of the map was irresistible. For centuries, it had whispered to the curious and the ambitious alike, promising that the unknown could be mastered if one had the courage to pursue it. It was more than a treasure hunt. It was a journey into the hidden layers of history, a confrontation with secrets deliberately obscured, and a confrontation with the limits of human understanding. In every scratch of ink, in every faint line, there lay a question. Do you seek the truth, or are you merely chasing a myth? Tonight, as the shadows lengthened across the ancient parchment, the story began again. The map waited, patient and silent, for the next seeker bold enough to trace its hidden paths. And somewhere, beyond the reach of ordinary eyes, the treasure lay untouched, its existence both real and tantalizingly uncertain. The world may have forgotten it, but the map had not forgotten the world. And so, the whisper of a lost treasure began once more, echoing through time, inviting those who dared to listen. The story of the secret map begins not in libraries or museums, but in whispers, fragments of conversations recorded in hidden diaries, in letters passed hand to hand, and in the coded manuscripts of those who moved in the shadows of history. Its origins are as elusive as the treasure it promised, yet every thread leads to a time when the world was alive with exploration, intrigue, and the unquenchable thirst for power. Some claim the map was born in the courts of medieval monarchs, where alchemists and scholars plotted the future in secrecy. Others suggest it emerged from the workshops of master cartographers, Men and women so skilled in the art of deception and design that their maps were as much riddles as guides. It is said that the earliest known references to the map appear in the journals of a traveling merchant, one whose routes spanned the Mediterranean and reached into the far corners of Europe. He wrote of a parchment, sealed in a velvet pouch, that carried markings no one could decipher. According to his account, the symbols were neither Latin nor Greek, but something older than even the great libraries of Alexandria could hold. He described how the map seemed to shift under his gaze, how rivers curved impossibly, and mountains rose in directions that defied reason. For him, it was terrifying, a living artifact that resisted human understanding. Some historians have attempted to trace the map to a specific creator. Among the most persistent theories is that it was the work of an exiled scholar, one who had studied the forbidden sciences and possessed knowledge of lands lost to time. This scholar, it is said, had witnessed empires rise and fall, seen secret societies bury their treasures, and understood the hidden codes that governed the distribution of wealth and power. The map, in this telling, was both a record and a warning, a puzzle meant to challenge those who might dare to seek what had been deliberately hidden. Another theory connects the map to a secretive maritime order, known only in obscure references as the Keepers of the Compass. According to rumor, they were a brotherhood devoted to charting every island, cave, and hidden inlet in the known world, keeping their discoveries from the public eye. Their maps were not merely tools of navigation. They were instruments of control, knowledge that could grant immense influence to those who possessed it. If the secret map did indeed originate with them, then its cryptic symbols were designed not to confuse, but to filter, to ensure that only the worthy could pursue its trail. Over the centuries, the map seemed to vanish and reappear at intervals almost too coincidental to dismiss. It surfaced in the hands of a Venetian collector in the 15th century, only to be stolen and disappear for decades. It was rumored to have crossed continents during times of war, passed from hand to hand among scholars, explorers, and thieves, always remaining just out of reach of those who sought it for personal gain. Each mention, each sighting, added layers to its legend. The map became more than an artifact. It became a symbol of humanity's insatiable desire for discovery, a reflection of ambition and obsession intertwined. Interestingly, some believe the map contains deliberate misdirections, coded paths that mask the truth behind layers of deceit. It may contain decoy landmarks, invented rivers, or false coordinates, all serving as traps for the unwary. Others argue that these apparent inconsistencies are not mistakes, but keys, components of a grand cipher that must be solved piece by piece. To approach it merely as a geographical guide is to misunderstand its purpose entirely. It was not meant for the casual seeker, but for those willing to decode the hidden logic woven into every line and symbol. The mystery of the map's origin is deepened by the secrecy surrounding its earliest custodians. Many of these individuals were known to have disappeared, leaving behind fragments of evidence and cryptic notes. Some journals imply that the map was entrusted to the care of secret societies, organizations whose motives were as opaque as the symbols on the parchment. Their intention may have been protection, preservation, or control, perhaps all three. Whatever the case, they ensure that the map did not fall into ordinary hands, preserving its secret for centuries. Despite the uncertainty, one thing is clear: the map has endured. It has survived fires, wars, theft, and the relentless passage of time. Its resilience only adds to its aura, suggesting that it carries a purpose greater than the sum of its physical parts. Every smudge, every fold, every faded line is a testament to the hands it has passed through and the dangers it has witnessed. The map is more than ink on paper. It is a living testament to the lengths humans will go to protect knowledge, power, and treasure. And so, the origins of the secret map remain shrouded in mystery, intertwined with legend, obsession, and secrecy. Perhaps it was created to guide, perhaps to mislead, or perhaps simply to challenge those who would dare to pursue the unknown. What is certain is that the map carries a weight far beyond its physical form, a weight of centuries, of hidden knowledge, and of a treasure that no one has ever found. The questions it poses are as compelling today as they were when it was first drawn. Who made it? Why was it hidden? And most importantly, what lies at the end of the path it reveals for those daring enough to follow? To understand the secret map, one must first step into the world in which it was born, a world where knowledge was a weapon and secrets were the currency of power. This was an era when kingdoms rose and fell not solely through warfare or diplomacy, but through the careful management of information. In a time before mass printing and instantaneous communication, the line between truth and myth was fluid, and those who controlled what was known held a quiet, almost invisible authority. Knowledge was not freely shared. It was carefully guarded, transmitted only to those deemed worthy, while forbidden texts, cryptic manuscripts, and esoteric wisdom were hidden away in secret chambers or private libraries. It was in this delicate tension between revelation and concealment that the map was said to have emerged. At the same time, the world was alive with explorers venturing into the unknown, sailors navigating uncharted waters, merchants traversing perilous trade routes, and scholars chasing the secrets of ancient civilizations. Each journey carried the potential for discovery, but also the risk of misdirection, betrayal, and even death. The secret map promised guidance through this labyrinth of peril and opportunity, offering hints that could unlock treasures invisible to ordinary eyes. Empires of the time, Venetian, Ottoman, Spanish, and Portuguese, competed fiercely for knowledge and wealth. Their archives brimmed with maps, astrolabes, and coded letters, but much of what was recorded was intentionally incomplete. Explorers who returned with accounts of distant lands often found their discoveries diluted or distorted, sanitized to serve political purposes. Within this context, the secret map appears not merely as a tool for locating treasure, but as a subversive object, a challenge to the mainstream narrative, a key to understanding what had been deliberately hidden. Beyond political intrigue, there existed a thriving network of scholars, alchemists, and esoteric practitioners who pursued knowledge that bordered on the mystical. They studied the stars, the elements, and the movements of the earth, seeking patterns invisible to the untrained eye. Some of these practitioners were linked to secret societies, whose rituals and teachings emphasized secrecy, initiation, and the careful transmission of wisdom. In such circles, maps were more than geographic representations. They were symbolic, layered with hidden meaning, and designed to reveal truths only to those who could decipher their codes. The secret map fits perfectly within this tradition, a relic that bridges tangible geography with the hidden dimensions of understanding. At the same time, the world of common people operated under the weight of folklore, superstition, and oral tradition. Tales of hidden treasures, enchanted lands, and cursed objects circulated in villages and marketplaces, often dismissed by educated elites as fantasy. Yet these legends sometimes preserved fragments of reality, shrouded in metaphor, that aligned eerily with the locations and symbols hinted at on the map. To those who knew how to read between the lines, these stories offered subtle clues, an additional layer of guidance embedded in centuries of cultural memory. Trade routes, both land and sea, were another crucial factor shaping the era. Caravan trails across deserts, shipping lanes across oceans, and secret paths through mountains allowed for the movement of wealth, information, and ideas. Merchants, spies, and adventurers alike navigated this network, aware that even the smallest detail, a star at dusk, a river bend, or a hidden cove, could determine success or failure. The secret map, with its cryptic notations, appears to reflect this deep understanding of logistics, geography, and human behavior, suggesting that its creator was intimately familiar with the world's hidden arteries. The broader cultural and intellectual movements of the time also provide essential context. Renaissance Europe was alive with curiosity and innovation, but knowledge was still tightly guarded. Ancient manuscripts were rediscovered, yet their interpretation was often restricted to elite circles. Mystical traditions from the East, Africa, and the Mediterranean flowed into Europe, carried by travelers, scholars, and traders, often cloaked in allegory or hidden in coded texts. The map may well be a product of this confluence, combining practical navigation, symbolic language, and esoteric knowledge to form a guide that transcended ordinary understanding. It is also worth noting the role of religion and politics. Powerful religious institutions exerted enormous influence over what could be studied, recorded, or disseminated. Certain ideas were deemed heretical or dangerous, and those who pursued forbidden knowledge risked exile, imprisonment, or worse. Within this environment, a map that promised access to a hidden treasure, whether material or intellectual, could not exist openly. Its secrecy was not accidental. It was a necessity, a protection against forces that might seek to suppress its power. Finally, one must consider the psychological landscape of the era. Ambition, curiosity, greed, and faith drove individuals to pursue what others considered impossible. The lure of the unknown, of wealth, of secrets that could shift the balance of power, inspired a kind of obsessive determination. The secret map embodies this spirit, a convergence of intellect, imagination, and risk. It is a product of a time when the world was vast, mysterious, and dangerous, and when the line between history and myth, between reality and legend, was deliberately blurred. In this context, the map is not simply a relic. It is a window into a worldview that few fully comprehend today. It reflects a society in which the most valuable knowledge was hidden, encoded, and guarded, and in which the act of discovery carried consequences beyond the material. To follow the map is to step into that world, to navigate the hidden currents of history, and to confront the layers of secrecy that have shaped our understanding of the past. The map's endurance through centuries of upheaval is testament not only to its allure, but to the meticulous care of those who preserved it, ensuring that it survived as both a challenge and an invitation for those daring enough to pursue its mysteries. Every map tells a story, but some maps tell more than they appear to. The secret map is one such creation, a work not merely of geography, but of intention, intellect, and mystery. Its creator remains unknown, a shadowy figure obscured by time and secrecy, but their fingerprints are visible in every line, every curve, every cryptic mark etched into the fragile parchment. The mapmaker was no ordinary artisan. Whoever drew these intricate pathways possessed knowledge far beyond conventional navigation, blending mathematics, astronomy, and symbolism into a document that defied casual understanding. To gaze upon it is to confront not only the world as it was known, but the mind of someone who deliberately blurred the line between reality and puzzle. Historians and cryptographers have long debated the identity of the mapmaker. Some suggest a reclusive scholar, versed in forgotten sciences and ancient languages, who spent decades studying secret texts and lost cartographies. Others argue for the involvement of an elite guild of cartographers, whose members were bound by oaths to protect the knowledge of the world from those unworthy of its secrets. Regardless of origin, the care with which the map was designed indicates an intellect both meticulous and deliberate, aware that every element could serve multiple purposes: guidance, misdirection, or concealment. The map itself contains anomalies that defy traditional cartographic conventions. Rivers bend in unusual patterns, coastlines shift subtly in ways that cannot be reconciled with known geography, and islands appear where none exist on modern charts. Some researchers speculate that these deviations are deliberate traps, intended to confuse or test the observer. Others believe they encode hidden information, layers of meaning visible only to those who understand the symbolic language employed by the cartographer. This duality, the possibility of misdirection alongside revelation, is central to the map's enigma, creating a puzzle that has both tantalized and frustrated generations of seekers. In the margins, the map is adorned with obscure symbols, some resembling astrological signs, others appearing as alchemical notations or cryptic letters from lost alphabets. These markings may indicate directions, reference hidden locations, or serve as warnings. Attempts to decode them have produced theories ranging from plausible to fantastical, but no consensus has ever been reached. Each symbol is a challenge, a whisper from the mapmaker across centuries, daring the viewer to uncover the underlying logic while keeping the ultimate secret safely concealed. Some scholars have suggested that the map functions as a multi-layered cipher. Its visible elements, mountains, rivers, islands, might serve as the surface layer, while the true information lies hidden beneath symbolic or numerical codes. This theory gains support from the map's apparent alignment with astronomical phenomena, suggesting that the cartographer may have encoded locations according to celestial patterns or seasonal changes. In this sense, the map is not static. It interacts with the natural world, revealing or concealing its secrets depending on timing, observation, and understanding. The cartographer's intent is another enduring mystery. Was this map created as a genuine guide to a hidden treasure, or as a philosophical exercise, a meditation on the nature of knowledge and discovery? Some historians lean toward the former, pointing to the repeated references in historical journals and legends to a tangible reward at the map's end. Others propose the latter, suggesting that the treasure may be metaphorical, representing wisdom, enlightenment, or understanding rather than material wealth. Perhaps the true brilliance of the map lies in this ambiguity. It challenges its seekers to question not only the world around them, but the motivations and desires that drive human curiosity. Accounts from early explorers who encountered the map, or fragments of it, offer glimpses into the cartographer's mind. Many describe an immediate sense of unease, as if the map itself were testing them. Some reported disorientation, headaches, or a compulsive need to follow lines and symbols, often at great personal risk. It is as if the map had a consciousness of its own, a mechanism to protect its secrets while simultaneously rewarding those capable of perceiving its hidden order. In this way, the map functions both as tool and trial, requiring intellect, intuition, and perseverance in equal measure. The enigma extends to the physical construction of the map. Analysis of the parchment, ink, and methods of illustration suggest techniques that were uncommon, if not entirely unknown, for the era in which it supposedly originated. The precision of the lines, the subtle layering of ink, and the durability of the materials all indicate a mastery of craft designed to withstand centuries of handling, decay, and even deliberate attempts at destruction. Every choice made by the cartographer appears intentional, suggesting an acute awareness that the map must survive, yet remain inscrutable to the uninitiated. Yet despite, or perhaps because of, these mysteries, the map continues to captivate. Its enigma lies not only in its content, but in the presence of the unseen mind behind it. Each fold, smudge, and imperfection tells a story of deliberate care, intellectual rigor, and subtle deception. The map challenges modern seekers in ways that transcend geography. It asks them to think, observe, and question, while remaining aware that the answers may not exist in a conventional sense. The creator, though unknown, remains intimately connected to every step of every adventurer who attempts to follow their design. The cartographer's enigma, therefore, is not merely a question of identity, but a reflection of intent and method. The map is a dialogue across time, a conversation in which the mapmaker speaks in riddles, tests the worthy, and conceals the ultimate secret behind layers of knowledge, perception, and patience. It is this very complexity, this deliberate intertwining of clarity and confusion, that ensures the map's endurance as both artifact and legend. To study it is to confront centuries of secrecy, intellect, and subtle manipulation, and to embark upon a journey in which every discovery raises new questions and every step brings the seeker closer to the shadowy mind that created it. The allure of the secret map has never been a quiet whisper. From the moment it first emerged, adventurers, explorers, and fortune seekers were drawn into its enigmatic web, compelled by the promise of hidden wealth and forbidden knowledge. Yet, as often as the map inspired daring quests, it seemed to claim those who followed it too eagerly. The annals of history are sprinkled with tales of individuals who sought the treasure and disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only hints, rumors, and fragmented journals that teased more than they revealed. One of the earliest recorded seekers was a Venetian nobleman in the late 15th century. Known for his fascination with exotic lands and obscure texts, he reportedly came into possession of a fragment of the secret map, a scrap so cryptic that most dismissed it as worthless. Undeterred, he embarked on a journey across the Mediterranean, tracing a route suggested by the map's winding symbols. Months passed, then years, yet he never returned. Rumors circulated of a mysterious island he had discovered, whose coast did not appear on any other chart, and of treasures too vast for a single man to carry. The nobleman became a legend in his own right, a cautionary tale for others drawn to the map's siren call. Other seekers fared no better. A merchant from Lisbon, obsessed with maps and manuscripts, reportedly spent years decoding the map's intricate symbols. His journal, found decades later, was filled with obsessive sketches, cryptic annotations, and increasingly erratic entries describing uncharted islands, hidden valleys, and rivers that defied conventional understanding. The final pages ended abruptly, the ink smudged as if by frantic hands, leaving historians to wonder whether he had been lost at sea, consumed by obsession, or confronted by forces beyond comprehension. Each fragment of his account suggests that the map's pursuit demanded more than courage. It demanded endurance, intellect, and a willingness to confront uncertainty at every turn. Even outside Europe, the map seemed to exert a mysterious pull. In North Africa, a caravan trader was said to have obtained a partial copy of the map from a shadowy figure in a bustling souk. Over months, he followed the map through deserts, mountains, and hidden oases, noting landmarks invisible to ordinary maps. Eventually, he vanished, leaving behind only a small notebook filled with symbols and sketches. Locals spoke in hushed tones of a man who had walked into a valley that appeared and disappeared depending on the light, suggesting that the map guided its seekers into realms that defied ordinary perception. The pattern is undeniable. Early seekers frequently disappeared or returned transformed, their accounts fragmented, bizarre, or maddeningly incomplete. Some spoke of lands that seemed to shift or change overnight, of rivers that appeared where none should exist, and of signs and symbols that only revealed themselves under precise conditions. Others reported being followed or watched, sensing unseen guardians who ensured that only those truly prepared could progress. It is as if the map itself possessed an intelligence, testing those who dared to follow its lines while shielding the treasure from the unworthy. These vanished seekers left a trail of fragmented knowledge, yet the fragments themselves became objects of obsession for later generations. Journals, sketches, and oral accounts passed from hand to hand, forming a hidden chain of breadcrumbs leading to the present day. Scholars, secret societies, and private collectors pieced together these fragments, hoping to reconstruct the journey and uncover the treasure's true location. Each attempt, however, only deepened the mystery. The map seemed to resist completion, offering hints without answers and paths without destinations. The stories of early seekers also highlight the psychological toll of the pursuit. Many accounts describe obsession taking hold, a compulsion to follow every line, decode every symbol, and trace every hidden route, regardless of risk. Some succumbed to madness, others to physical exhaustion, and some simply vanished, leaving behind only their notes as a testament to their struggle. In this way, the map functions not only as a guide, but as a filter, revealing not only geographical truths, but also the character and resilience of those who attempt to pursue it. Despite the danger, the allure of the map continued to draw adventurers across centuries. Its pull was irresistible because it promised more than material wealth. For many, It represented a journey into the unknown, a test of intellect, courage, and determination. Those who failed or disappeared became part of the legend, reinforcing the map's mystique and warning others of the risks involved. In a sense, every vanished seeker added another layer to the map's story, a silent testament to its power and the peril inherent in following it too closely. Interestingly, some seekers claim to have glimpsed portions of the treasure, describing astonishing wealth, artifacts of unknown origin, or even knowledge that seemed impossible. Yet these glimpses were fleeting, fragmentary, and often inconsistent, as if the treasure itself were guarded by forces that allowed only partial revelation. Some speculate that this selective exposure was deliberate, a test of perception, patience, and moral integrity. The treasure, in this sense, is not simply a physical prize, but a measure of worthiness, revealed only to those capable of understanding and respecting the complexity of its concealment. The stories of early seekers continue to inspire modern adventurers. Researchers, treasure hunters, and historians study their journals, looking for clues, patterns, or errors that might illuminate the path. Each narrative serves as a guide and a warning, a reminder that the map is not a simple tool, but a living challenge. Its pursuit demands intellect, courage, patience, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty, while the vanished seekers remain silent witnesses to its enduring enigma. Ultimately, the early seekers' tales underscore the map's dual nature. It is both a promise and a test, a lure and a warning. Those who pursue it risk everything, yet the potential reward, whether material, intellectual, or spiritual, remains tantalizingly out of reach. The map does not merely chart physical terrain. It charts the human spirit, challenging each seeker to confront ambition, obsession, and the very limits of understanding. In the shadows of history, their disappearances serve as a haunting reminder that some treasures are never meant to be easily found, and that the path itself may be as transformative or as perilous as the prize it conceals. The secret map did not exist in isolation. Its existence implies guardianship, custodianship, and deliberate concealment, and for centuries, historians and conspiracists alike have speculated that secret societies played a pivotal role in both its creation and preservation. These organizations, some known, others lost to time, operated in shadows, influencing events, controlling knowledge, and guarding treasures that were meant to remain hidden from the public eye. To understand the map's enduring mystery, one must peer into the hidden networks that may have protected it, and consider the motivations of those who saw it as both a tool and a test. Among the most commonly cited custodians are the Rosicrucians, a mystical brotherhood known for blending science, philosophy, and esoteric tradition. Founded in the early 17th century, they claimed to possess secret wisdom handed down through generations, knowledge that could unlock spiritual enlightenment, as well as earthly power. Legends suggest that the Rosicrucians maintained a vast network of hidden libraries, laboratories, and archives where rare manuscripts and maps were preserved. The secret map, with its intricate codes and concealed directions, fits seamlessly into their modus operandi, a carefully guarded artifact intended to be understood only by the initiated. The Templars, too, have been linked to the map, though much of this connection is shrouded in conjecture. After their dissolution in the early 14th century, Templar wealth, knowledge, and artifacts reportedly disappeared into secretive channels. Rumors abound of caches of treasure hidden across Europe, often protected by cryptic maps and encrypted instructions. Some theories suggest that the secret map may have originated within these networks, designed to conceal not only material wealth, but also sacred knowledge and strategic intelligence. If so, the map represents more than a geographical guide. It is a manifestation of centuries of accumulated secrecy, a challenge encoded into symbols, lines, and celestial markers. Other societies, lesser known or entirely lost to history, may have played a role as well. Merchant guilds, alchemical fraternities, and clandestine academic circles often exchanged maps, manuscripts, and esoteric knowledge, sometimes passing them down through generations or hiding them in secret caches. Within this complex web of guardianship, the map functioned as both key and filter, revealing its secrets selectively and only to those capable of interpretation. It was a living artifact, entwined with human ambition, intellectual rigor, and moral discernment. The motivations of these societies are as intriguing as the map itself. Some sought control, hoarding information that could confer political, economic, or spiritual advantage. Others pursued preservation, ensuring that knowledge too powerful or dangerous for the masses survived the ravages of time, war, and ignorance. A third group may have viewed the map as a test, a challenge meant to cultivate intelligence, discernment, and character in those who dared to follow it. Across all theories, the common thread is deliberate secrecy, the idea that the map was never meant for everyone, and that its pursuit carried consequences for both success and failure. Evidence of the map's connection to secret societies can be found in subtle historical traces. Cryptic symbols in journals, peculiar architectural alignments in certain estates, and recurring motifs in art and manuscripts hint at coordinated knowledge networks. For instance, astrological diagrams, geometric patterns, and alchemical symbols echo those found in Rosicrucian and Templar texts, suggesting that the map's creator, or at least its custodian, was familiar with these traditions. Some scholars argue that these links are coincidental, but the consistency across centuries, cultures, and regions suggests intentionality. The society's methods of secrecy were as elaborate as their knowledge. Hidden chambers, encoded manuscripts, and ritualized teachings ensure that information could not be casually discovered or misused. The map may have been circulated among trusted members only, with fragments copied and hidden, ensuring that even within the society, complete understanding was rare. In this way, the map functioned as both a guide and a gatekeeper, a mechanism for controlling access to knowledge and power across generations. Accounts of seekers encountering members of these societies are rare but tantalizing. Some journals describe clandestine meetings with figures who seem to know far more than they should, offering cryptic hints, riddles, or warnings. In certain cases, these encounters may have been orchestrated to test the seeker's character, perseverance, and intelligence. Those who failed to impress were left with fragments of information, misdirections, or nothing at all, while those deemed worthy might receive guidance that brought them closer to the map's hidden truths. The pattern is clear. The map's pursuit was never purely physical. It was psychological, ethical, and intellectual, intertwined with the hidden agendas and secret codes of centuries-old societies. Even in modern times, the shadow of these secret organizations continues to cast influence. Researchers and historians report encounters with private collectors, mysterious advisors, and secretive archives, all hinting that some groups have maintained continuity, adapting their methods for the modern era. The map, while centuries old, may still be watched, protected, and interpreted within this continuum, its secrets shielded by those who understand its value and the consequences of its revelation. The influence of secret societies also reinforces the map's enigmatic nature. Unlike ordinary maps, which are designed to be understood at a glance, this map appears almost sentient in its complexity. It anticipates human curiosity, punishes impatience, and rewards insight. To follow it is to enter a world where history, legend, and esoteric knowledge converge, and where the guardianship of information is as important as the treasure itself. In this sense, the societies are as much a part of the map as the parchment, ink, and symbols. They are the invisible hands shaping the journey and the trials of every seeker. Ultimately, the connection between secret societies and the map elevates the mystery from simple treasure hunt to a century-spanning enigma. It suggests a deliberate orchestration, a choreography of secrecy, intellect, and foresight that few can fully comprehend. The map is not only a document, it is a challenge, a test, and a key to understanding hidden currents of power, knowledge, and ambition that have flowed quietly through human history. Those who encounter it are participating in a continuum of seekers, each measured not only by skill and courage, but by the discernment and wisdom that these societies valued above all else. In the end, to study the map is to acknowledge the invisible networks that have preserved it, to recognize that every line, symbol, and fold may carry centuries of intentional secrecy, and to confront the realization that the map's pursuit is inseparable from the societies that have guarded it. It is a game of intellect and patience, a journey through hidden corridors of history, and an invitation to engage with the mystery in a way that transcends time itself. To follow the secret map is to step into a world where symbols speak louder than words, where every line, curve, and mark carries meaning beyond immediate perception. Unlike ordinary maps, which function simply as guides from point A to point B, this map is layered with hidden codes, celestial references, and cryptic imagery that can mislead the unprepared and enlighten the patient observer. For centuries, scholars, cryptographers, and adventurers have attempted to decode its secrets, each layer revealing more complexity than the last, suggesting that the map is not only a physical guide, but also an intellectual and spiritual test. At first glance, the symbols seem simple enough: stars, mountains, rivers, and islands. Yet careful examination reveals irregularities. Certain mountains are drawn larger than they appear geographically, certain rivers bend in impossible ways, and some islands seem to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Scholars suggest that these distortions are deliberate, functioning as ciphers, indicators, or keys. The mapmaker may have intended them as tests of observation, requiring seekers to look beyond mere geography and consider mathematics, astronomy, and allegory as intertwined pathways to discovery. Celestial symbols feature prominently. Constellations, phases of the moon, and planetary alignments appear across the map, hinting that timing may be as important as location. Some researchers speculate that these symbols serve multiple purposes, guiding travelers at specific times, encoding distances, or revealing hidden alignments that correspond to secret locations. In a time when navigation relied heavily on the stars, such celestial references would have been both practical and arcane, bridging ordinary exploration with mystical understanding. The map, therefore, operates simultaneously in two realms, the tangible and the symbolic, inviting a dual mode of perception that challenges conventional understanding. Alchemical symbols, too, appear sporadically along the margins and within the main body of the map. These icons, long associated with transformation, secrecy, and hidden knowledge, suggest that the treasure's pursuit is not merely a physical endeavor, but an intellectual and spiritual one. Decoding these symbols requires knowledge of numerology, chemistry, and philosophy, indicating that the map's creator intended to test not only courage and observation, but wisdom, patience, and moral discernment. The map is a challenge disguised as a guide, a puzzle whose solution may depend as much on the seeker's mind as on their skill or luck. Ciphers embedded within the map add another layer of complexity. Letters and numbers appear to correspond with specific locations, forming intricate codes that must be decoded to reveal their meaning. Early seekers often recorded their attempts in journals, detailing patterns, repetitions, and anomalies, yet few succeeded in fully deciphering these enigmas. Some codes may be multi-layered, requiring knowledge of languages lost to time, obscure mathematical principles, or ritualized sequences of action. In this sense, the map functions not merely as a navigation tool, but as a training ground for intellect, patience, and interpretive skill. Interestingly, many of the symbols appear in other contexts throughout history. Star charts, alchemical diagrams, and architectural motifs from secret societies often echo the forms found on the map. This repetition suggests intentional cross-referencing, a method to preserve knowledge across generations while concealing it from the uninitiated. For example, certain shapes resembling labyrinths appear on both the map and in esoteric texts, hinting at locations or pathways that may otherwise go unnoticed. The map, therefore, exists not only in isolation, but as part of a broader network of symbolic communication, a continuum of hidden knowledge carefully encoded to survive through centuries of secrecy and misdirection. The psychological effect of decoding the symbols cannot be underestimated. Early seekers frequently reported that attempting to interpret the map led to obsessive behaviors, heightened perception, and a profound sense of being tested. Some felt as though the map was aware of their intentions, rewarding patience while punishing greed or rashness. Others described glimpses of locations or insights that disappeared if pursued too hastily. These accounts suggest that the map was designed not merely as a static document, but as an interactive puzzle, requiring sustained engagement and disciplined reasoning to reveal even fragments of its truth. Modern analysis has expanded our understanding of these symbols, though the puzzle remains largely unsolved. Advanced imaging techniques, historical cross-referencing, and comparative studies with contemporary maps have shed light on potential alignments and encoded coordinates. Researchers have identified patterns that suggest the map operates on multiple scales. Some symbols indicate macro locations across continents, while others point to micro-locations, hidden coves, underground chambers, or lost ruins. Each level of interpretation adds layers to the mystery, creating a labyrinthine structure in which the seeker must navigate both geography and intellect simultaneously. The map's symbols also invite philosophical reflection. Are the codes purely practical, or do they carry moral or spiritual lessons? Some suggest that the treasure itself, whether material, intellectual, or spiritual, can only be accessed by those who understand the ethical and intellectual principles embedded in the symbols. In this view, the map is not just a guide, but a moral compass, challenging seekers to align their actions, perceptions, and intentions with the wisdom encoded within its lines. The treasure, then, is not simply wealth. It is mastery over oneself and over the hidden order of the world. Even as technology allows modern seekers unprecedented tools for analysis, the map resists easy comprehension. Its symbols operate in layers, some visible only under specific conditions, others interpretable only with contextual knowledge of history, astronomy, or philosophy. In many ways, the map functions as a living puzzle, adaptive and demanding, rewarding those who engage with patience and intellect, while remaining inscrutable to those who seek shortcuts or rely solely on brute force exploration. Ultimately, the act of decoding the symbols transforms the seeker. It is a journey of perception, intellect, and patience, where every insight gained illuminates not only the map but the mind of its creator. Each discovery brings the seeker closer to understanding the treasure, yet always leaves the ultimate truth tantalizingly out of reach. The map's coded messages are not mere obstacles. They are invitations, tests, and reflections of a centuries-old challenge designed to shape those who dare to follow it. The secret map, with its hidden symbols, thus becomes more than a guide to treasure. It is a mirror of human ambition, intellect, and morality, a bridge between history, legend, and esoteric knowledge. To decode, it is to participate in a lineage of seekers stretching across centuries, each step revealing both external locations and internal truths. Every symbol, line, and mark carries intention, demanding that the observer not only see, but understand, and not only follow, but engage with the subtle genius woven into its design. In this way, the map's coded symbols are not merely elements to interpret. They are the heartbeat of the treasure hunt itself, the key to entering a world where mystery, intellect, and courage intersect in profound and transformative ways. The secret map, while rich in symbols, codes, and enigmatic markings, ultimately points to the physical world, a hidden geography layered beneath centuries of human history and legend. Its contours, curves, and lines suggest more than familiar rivers or mountains. They hint at places erased from ordinary maps, paths obscured by time, and locations that exist only in fragmented records or oral traditions. For centuries, seekers have attempted to trace these hidden routes, combining historical research, cryptography, and intuition in the hope of following the map from myth to reality. One of the map's most perplexing features is its apparent defiance of scale and proportion. Mountains rise where no mountains exist, rivers bend impossibly, and coastlines seem to shift depending on interpretation. Scholars suggest that these irregularities are deliberate, intended to encode information in ways that only a careful observer could decode. Perhaps a bend in a river corresponds not to physical geography, but to a direction relative to the stars. Perhaps a mountain drawn larger than life signifies a symbolic threshold rather than a literal peak. In this way, the map operates simultaneously as a physical guide and as a metaphysical puzzle, requiring seekers to navigate both terrain and perception. Despite these complexities, patterns emerge when cross-referencing the map with historical documents, explorers' journals, and oral traditions. Certain locations appear repeatedly in fragments, from the hidden coves of the Mediterranean to the lost valleys of Central Asia. Some islands referenced on the map match accounts of vanished or submerged landmasses, suggesting that the map may incorporate knowledge of geographic changes over centuries. Rivers drawn in unusual forms may align with seasonal shifts or hidden watercourses now obscure by modern development. Every line on the map is a clue, an invitation to trace history's hidden paths and reconsider what we think we know about the world. The map also contains indications of relative positioning, suggesting that celestial and terrestrial navigation were intertwined. Stars, constellations, and planetary symbols provide bearings that correspond to real-world locations when interpreted through specific temporal frameworks. Historical accounts of early seekers indicate that following these celestial clues was essential. Misinterpretation often led to dead ends, confusion, or disappearance. In essence, the map is a three-dimensional puzzle, operating across time, space, and perception. To follow it requires more than knowledge of geography. It demands an understanding of astronomy, history, and human psychology. Interestingly, some locations hinted at on the map coincide with historical centers of trade, hidden sanctuaries, or forgotten ruins. This suggests a deliberate layering. The map not only directs seekers to treasure, but also through sites of historical and cultural significance. Hidden knowledge may have been encoded within these sites, accessible only to those who could connect the dots between past and present. For instance, ruins aligned with celestial events may reveal a location only at certain times of year, while inscriptions at isolated trade outposts could point to pathways obscured in mainstream records. Regions repeatedly implicated in the map's journey are diverse, spanning continents and climates. Remote islands in the Aegean Sea, valleys tucked between the peaks of Central Asia, and secret waterways in North Africa have all been cited as potential waypoints. Historical journals describe explorers navigating these treacherous terrains, noting landmarks that vanished upon return or seemed to shift over time. The phenomenon of disappearing or mutable locations suggests that the map's geography is not entirely literal, but rather a combination of tangible terrain and symbolic representation, designed to conceal the ultimate path while rewarding persistent observation. The challenge of following the map's clues is compounded by human history itself. Wars, natural disasters, and urban development have altered landscapes, erasing rivers, burying ruins, and submerging islands. Early explorers encountered paths now lost to time, noting landmarks that exist only in fragmented memory or historical accounts. Modern adventurers face similar obstacles, attempting to reconcile centuries-old clues with contemporary geography. The map, in this sense, is both a record of what was and a guide to what has been hidden, urging seekers to consider the layers of change and continuity that define human history. Some theorists argue that the map's geographic cues are encoded through perspective rather than precise measurements. A particular bend in a river may indicate direction relative to a celestial marker. An exaggerated mountain might point toward a valley or cave. These clues require interpretation, combining cartography, astronomy, and intuition. Misreading even a single symbol could result in following a phantom path, wandering endlessly without ever approaching the intended goal. This complexity ensures that the map remains a living enigma, rewarding intellectual rigor and careful study while punishing those who rely on superficial observation. The map's global nature suggests that its creators or custodians possessed extraordinary knowledge of the world. Its traces extend across continents, hinting at networks of travel, trade, and secret passage known only to a select few. Historical records of merchants, spies, and scholars corroborate this possibility, suggesting that certain knowledge of geography, hidden routes, and secret locations was deliberately preserved within tight networks. The map may represent a synthesis of these dispersed pieces of intelligence, encoding them into a single document that could guide the perceptive seeker across vast and dangerous terrain. Even as technology advances, the map's geography remains elusive. Satellite imagery, historical records, and archaeological surveys provide new tools for interpretation. Yet the map continues to resist definitive decoding. Its lines, symbols, and distortions require not only technical skill, but interpretive insight, a willingness to question assumptions and explore hidden possibilities. In this way, the map functions as both guide and test, a mirror of the human capacity for curiosity, observation, and problem-solving. Ultimately, the geographic clues embedded in the map do more than point to hidden treasure. They connect seekers to a hidden history, a network of lost paths, and the echoes of civilizations that existed on the edges of recorded knowledge. Following these clues is a journey through space and time, requiring attention, patience, and courage. The map's physical geography is inseparable from its symbolic and historical dimensions, creating a layered experience in which each discovery illuminates both the world and the human mind. To trace the map is to participate in a centuries-long pursuit, following paths laid out by unseen hands, interpreting signs left by vanished seekers, and uncovering locations that challenge conventional understanding. Each bend, valley, and hidden inlet carries significance, inviting adventurers to explore not just the landscape, but the interplay of history, legend, and human perception. The map's geography is a gateway into mystery, a canvas on which centuries of secrecy, ambition, and intellect converge, awaiting those bold enough to navigate its hidden corridors. The secret map's enigma extends far beyond its physical parchment and symbols. It echoes in the written words of the past. Ancient texts, chronicles, and manuscripts contain subtle references, allegorical narratives, and cryptic annotations that scholars have long suspected correspond to the map's hidden pathways. These literary fragments are scattered across continents, languages, and centuries, offering glimpses of the treasure without ever fully revealing it. To decode the map, one must first trace its literary trail, uncovering threads woven into history, philosophy, and folklore. Some of the earliest hints appear in medieval manuscripts preserved in monastic libraries. Monks, scribes, and chroniclers recorded events, journeys, and observations that seem mundane at first glance, but, upon closer inspection, align with patterns visible on the secret map. References to hidden valleys unseen by the eye, rivers that change with the moon, and stones that mark the way appear across texts from different regions, suggesting a shared knowledge transmitted through secretive channels. These phrases, often dismissed as poetic metaphor, may contain coded instructions, deliberately obscured to protect the knowledge from casual readers. The map's symbols find echoes in esoteric literature as well. Alchemical texts, mystical treatises, and philosophical works from the Renaissance period frequently feature diagrams resembling those found on the map. Constellations, geometric patterns, and coded letters appear across manuscripts, hinting that the map was not an isolated creation but part of a broader intellectual tradition. Scholars propose that its creator was fluent in multiple disciplines: astronomy, cartography, alchemy, and linguistics, capable of encoding layered meanings accessible only to those who possessed both the knowledge and the discernment to interpret them. Legends recorded in folklore often mirror the locations and phenomena indicated by the map. Stories of enchanted forests, hidden caves, and shifting islands were passed orally across generations, eventually finding their way into written accounts. While such tales were often dismissed as myth, modern analysis reveals striking correlations with geographic anomalies and symbolic markers on the map. This suggests a deliberate preservation of knowledge through allegory, a method designed to shield truth in plain sight, ensuring that only the perceptive or initiated could decipher it. Certain historical journals provide tantalizingly specific clues. Explorers, merchants, and travelers documented peculiar landmarks, unusual celestial alignments, and encounters with mysterious figures who seem to possess knowledge of hidden routes. Many of these accounts align with portions of the map, implying that the literary trail is not coincidental. Rather, it is a deliberate continuum, linking text, experience, and cartography into a single, intricate web. These texts serve as both guides and warnings, illustrating the risks of misinterpretation and the rewards of careful study. Religious and philosophical texts also contribute to the map's enigma. References to divine providence, sacred geometry, and hidden wisdom appear across treatises from diverse cultures. Some scholars argue that the map was intended not merely as a guide to physical treasure, but as a path toward enlightenment, merging material pursuit with intellectual and spiritual discovery. In this context, the literary references are not ancillary. They are integral to understanding the map's full purpose. Each text, each coded passage, becomes a puzzle piece, and the seeker must align literature with geography, history, and symbols to approach the treasure. Linguistic complexity further compounds the challenge. The texts associated with the map span Latin, Arabic, Greek, and archaic vernaculars, often interwoven with obscure terminology or metaphorical language. Some passages employ wordplay, puns, or numerical codes, demanding not only fluency in language, but also an understanding of historical context and intellectual frameworks. Early seekers who ignored these subtleties often failed, misled by literal interpretations of metaphorical clues. The map, in conjunction with the literary trail, requires a holistic approach, one that considers symbolism, history, and human behavior as equally important to deciphering its secrets. Cross-referencing texts from different regions yields further insights. Accounts from Mediterranean traders, Central Asian scholars, and European monks converge on recurring motifs, concealed entrances, protective symbols, and specific environmental markers. Such convergence suggests that knowledge of the treasure was deliberately disseminated across cultures, preserved in texts and oral traditions, while remaining inaccessible to the uninitiated. In effect, the literary trail functions as a multidimensional map itself, guiding seekers through the interplay of history, legend, and observation. The literary trail also emphasizes the map's temporal dimension. Many texts suggest that timing was critical, referencing celestial cycles, seasonal changes, or historical anniversaries. This implies that the treasure's concealment was dynamic, designed to align with both natural and human cycles. A seeker armed with the map alone might overlook these temporal clues, highlighting the importance of literary and historical sources as complementary guides. The past, in this sense, is not static but a living record, encoded with the knowledge necessary to navigate the present. The interplay between text and map demonstrates the sophistication of its creator. By embedding clues across multiple media, parchment, literature, oral tradition, the mapmaker ensured that discovery required intellect, patience, and holistic understanding. Material wealth may be the ostensible reward, but the true treasure lies in comprehension. Decoding centuries of knowledge, navigating cultural and intellectual contexts, and perceiving connections invisible to the casual observer. The map and its literary trail function as a symbiotic system, each element enhancing the other while maintaining the mystery's integrity. Ultimately, following the literary trail transforms the seeker's understanding of the map. No longer is it a mere artifact of geography. It becomes a portal into history, thought, and imagination. Each text decoded, each passage understood, brings the seeker closer to the treasure while illuminating the minds of those who preserved its secret. The literary trail is a bridge across time, linking seekers to vanished civilizations, secretive societies, and the enigmatic cartographer whose vision has endured for centuries. In essence, the map's hidden messages in literature reveal its dual purpose, to guide and to test. Its clues are embedded not only in lines and symbols, but in the collective memory of human civilization, preserved in manuscripts, journals, and stories that span continents and eras. By following this literary trail, seekers engage in a multidimensional pursuit, where intellect, perception, and historical knowledge are as critical as courage and endurance. The map becomes more than a tool. It is an invitation to participate in a centuries-old quest that merges history, legend, and the very essence of human curiosity. As the secret map passed from hand to hand over centuries, a pervasive narrative emerged. The pursuit of the treasure carries risk far beyond the ordinary dangers of exploration. Whispers of curses, omens, and mysterious misfortune accompanied accounts of vanished seekers, shaping a shadowy mythology around the map. These warnings were not idle superstition. Early chronicles and travelers' journals repeatedly described phenomena that defied explanation. Illnesses striking suddenly, navigators lost in calm seas, and entire expeditions disappearing into mist or storm. The map, it seemed, exacted a price on those who approached it unprepared or with impure intent. Reports of curses often blur the line between coincidence and deliberate consequence. A Venetian merchant who attempted to follow a fragment of the map fell ill under circumstances that doctors at the time could not explain. In his journal, he described voices whispering through the fog and signs that guided him, then misled him, as if the map itself were sentient. Others reported persistent misfortune, stolen supplies, sudden storms, or animals behaving erratically along paths marked by the map. Modern scholars speculate that some of these phenomena may have been psychological, the manifestation of intense stress and obsession. Yet the consistency of reports across centuries, continents, and cultures suggests something more, a deliberate warning woven into the fabric of the map itself. Curses were often linked to greed and impatience. Accounts of early seekers reveal a recurring pattern. Those who attempted to seize the treasure hastily, bypassing the careful interpretation of symbols or ignoring textual clues, met with misfortune or disappearance. Conversely, those who approached the quest with patience, intellect, and respect sometimes survived long enough to glean fragments of knowledge. In this sense, the curse serves as a moral compass, a filter designed to reward discipline and insight while punishing recklessness and hubris. The treasure, therefore, is not merely hidden. It is protected by a system of ethical as well as physical obstacles. Many warnings came in the form of explicit inscriptions, cryptic notes, or oral admonitions. Monastic texts described the path that devours the hasty and the prize denied to those who covet without wisdom. Folk tales spoke of invisible guardians who would mislead the greedy, or natural phenomena that shifted inexplicably to thwart pursuit. These warnings often coincided with the map's geographic and symbolic anomalies, suggesting a deliberate reinforcement. The map and the narrative of curse worked in tandem to shape human behavior. In effect, the map itself became an agent of caution, subtly conditioning seekers to approach its mysteries with reverence and care. The psychological impact of these curses cannot be underestimated. Early seekers frequently recorded feelings of dread, paranoia, and heightened perception as they approached significant locations. Some described hearing footsteps in deserted valleys, glimpsing shadows that vanished when confronted, or sensing unseen eyes observing every move. Such experiences, whether real or psychosomatic, reinforced the map's aura of danger and mystery, creating a feedback loop in which fear itself became a tool of guardianship. The map's influence was as much psychological as it was physical, shaping behavior through anticipation and apprehension. Historical accounts also suggest that curses could extend to misfortune in unexpected ways. A merchant's fortune might vanish, a ship might founder despite calm seas, or illness might strike the entire crew. Such accounts appear in journals across the Mediterranean, Europe, and North Africa, creating a pattern that cannot easily be dismissed. While modern interpretation might attribute these events to chance, disease, or environmental hazards, the consistency and specificity of the reports have given rise to a persistent belief. The treasure is protected not only by geography and secrecy, but by forces that respond to human intention. Some researchers propose that these curses functioned as deliberate deterrents, encoded by the map custodians or by the original creator. By embedding narratives of risk, disaster, and misfortune, they ensured that only those with patience, intelligence, and respect would persist. The curse, in this sense, is not supernatural, but a sophisticated form of psychological engineering, shaping the actions and decisions of seekers across generations. It is a test of character as much as a warning of peril, a mechanism to filter out those unworthy of discovery. Interestingly, warnings and curses were often tied to symbolic interpretation. Certain lines on the map, or the misreading of celestial cues, were reported to trigger misfortune, while accurate decoding seemed to provide protection. This reinforces the idea that the map is not merely a physical document, but a system of layered meaning, where intellectual, moral, and perceptual accuracy determine outcomes. In this framework, the curse is both literal and figurative, a real-world consequence of misjudgment and a reflection of the map's complex design. Even in modern times, the narrative of curses persists. Contemporary researchers, historians, and treasure hunters report inexplicable setbacks when attempting to follow the map's clues. Equipment failures, sudden travel restrictions, and confusing geographic data serve as modern echoes of the historical warnings. While some attribute these setbacks to chance or human error, others suggest that the map's legacy continues to influence the pursuit, maintaining the delicate balance between risk and reward. The curse, in this sense, is timeless, an enduring mechanism that reinforces the map's mystique and tests the resolve of those who engage with it. Ultimately, the tales of curses and warnings highlight the deeper significance of the map. It is not merely a guide to wealth or knowledge. It is a crucible of human intention, testing character, patience, and intellect. Those who fail are removed from the pursuit, while those who persist gain not only potential access to treasure, but also profound insights into the map's design and purpose. The curse serves as a reminder that the pursuit of hidden knowledge is never without consequence, and that ambition, when unchecked, can be as dangerous as the unknown itself. In the end, the price of pursuit is as real as the treasure it guards. The curses, warnings, and misfortune surrounding the map serve both to protect and to educate, shaping generations of seekers through fear, anticipation, and moral challenge. To engage with the map is to accept this duality, the thrill of discovery tempered by the awareness of danger, the allure of wealth and knowledge balanced by the necessity of patience, discipline, and respect. It is within this tension that the map's power endures, compelling seekers to navigate not only the world's hidden geography, but also the complex landscape of human ambition, morality, and resilience. The legend of the secret map has not been confined to the past. In the modern era, with the advent of global travel, advanced technology, and access to historical archives, the pursuit of the treasure has taken on a new intensity. Modern expeditions, often blending scholarship with adventure, continue the centuries-old quest, retracing the paths of vanished seekers while incorporating contemporary tools, satellite imagery, drones, GPS mapping, and digital archives, to decode clues that have persisted through time. The allure remains the same: the promise of hidden wealth, lost knowledge, and the thrill of stepping into history's shadowed corridors. One of the most ambitious modern pursuits involved a multinational team of historians, archaeologists, and cryptographers who sought to synthesize historical documents, literary trails, and the map itself into a coherent pathway. Their strategy combined traditional fieldwork with modern analytics, aiming to identify geographical anomalies and interpret symbolic codes that previous generations had attempted in isolation. Expeditions of this nature reveal the map's enduring complexity, showing that no single discipline or approach suffices. Only a multi-layered understanding, combining intellect, intuition, and technological insight, offers even the possibility of progress. Modern explorers frequently encounter the same psychological challenges faced by their predecessors. Prolonged immersion in the map's symbols and locations can produce obsession, disorientation, and heightened vigilance. Some report recurring patterns of frustration, where apparent breakthroughs dissolve into dead ends, and subtle clues appear only to vanish with the next observation. In this way, the map continues to function as both guide and test, shaping the behavior of seekers across time. Success is measured not only by tangible discoveries, but by the ability to persevere, adapt, and maintain clarity amid uncertainty. In several cases, expeditions have stumbled upon locations that seem to correspond with the map's more elusive references. Hidden caves in remote mountain ranges, submerged ruins along forgotten coastlines, and intricate carvings in isolated valleys provide tantalizing evidence that the map's directions are more than myth. Yet these discoveries rarely reveal the ultimate treasure. Instead, they hint at a multi-stage journey, suggesting that each find is a waypoint, a fragment of a larger puzzle that spans geography, history, and symbolism. The treasure, it appears, is never fully revealed to a single generation, but exists as a continuum of discovery, each expedition adding layers of understanding while preserving the map's ultimate secret. Technology has brought new opportunities and new risks to the hunt. Satellite mapping and remote sensing allow explorers to detect terrain anomalies invisible to the naked eye, while computational analysis of the map symbols can suggest previously unrecognized patterns. Yet technology does not eliminate the map's challenges. Modern seekers still encounter ambiguous clues, misaligned symbols, and temporal considerations encoded in celestial or seasonal references. Even with all these tools, the human element remains critical. Intuition, interpretation, and ethical judgment determine whether a clue leads to discovery or dead end. Collaboration has also become a hallmark of modern expeditions. Unlike early seekers, who often worked alone, contemporary explorers form multidisciplinary teams, blending expertise in archaeology, cryptography, history, linguistics, and field navigation. This mirrors the map's inherent complexity, demonstrating that understanding its secrets requires synthesis rather than isolated skill. Some teams share their findings discreetly, while others guard knowledge as fiercely as the original custodians may have, aware that the map's power and mystery are reinforced by selective access and careful stewardship. International intrigue often shadows modern pursuits. Just as historical secret societies sought to control access, contemporary expeditions face interference, misinformation, or hidden agendas. Rival treasure hunters, private collectors, and shadowy institutions may seek to protect or exploit the map's secrets, creating an environment of competition and caution. Some expeditions have encountered legal disputes, bureaucratic obstacles, or even sabotage, reinforcing the idea that the map's guardianship has persisted into the modern era, albeit in different forms. These dynamics echo the historical context, showing that secrecy and control remain central to the treasure story. Modern expeditions have also benefited from interdisciplinary research into vanished civilizations, environmental shifts, and historical trade routes. Studies of sediment layers, ancient waterways, and submerged settlements offer evidence supporting the map's references to places erased by time or natural disasters. Coupled with historical documentation, These findings suggest that the map's creator possessed extraordinary knowledge of geography and history, enabling clues to remain relevant despite centuries of environmental and societal change. The integration of scientific methods with traditional exploration demonstrates the enduring relevance of the map's challenge, highlighting the intersection of empirical study and interpretive insight. Yet the human cost persists. Modern seekers report physical hardship, psychological strain, and moments of profound uncertainty. Expeditions into remote or hostile terrain mirror the experiences of early seekers, underscoring that despite technological advancement, the pursuit remains fundamentally transformative and dangerous. The map continues to test not only skill and intellect, but resilience, patience, and moral fortitude. In this sense, the modern hunt is a continuation of the centuries-old tradition, a bridge between past and present, linking those who vanished long ago to those who dare to follow in their footsteps today. The modern pursuit also illuminates the map's layered purpose. Beyond material wealth, it appears designed to cultivate discernment, collaboration, and intellectual rigor. Expeditions reveal that the map's challenges are adaptive, rewarding careful study, patience, and ethical consideration while discouraging rashness, greed, or shortcut seeking. This reinforces the notion that the map's ultimate reward may be as much knowledge, experience, or insight as tangible treasure, a measure of human capability as well as ambition. In conclusion, modern expeditions demonstrate that the secret map is not a relic confined to history. It is a living enigma, continuously engaging new generations of seekers. Its challenges, geographical, symbolic, and psychological, remain as formidable as ever, while advances in technology and scholarship provide unprecedented tools to interpret its clues. The hunt continues to blend intellect, intuition, and courage, reflecting the enduring complexity of a map that has captivated humanity for centuries. Each modern expedition is a chapter in an ongoing saga, linking past seekers, vanished civilizations, and contemporary explorers in a shared journey toward a treasure that remains elusive yet eternally compelling. Despite the map's elusiveness and the many curses and warnings surrounding it, modern and historical seekers alike have uncovered fragments, clues, artifacts, and partial locations that hint at the treasure's existence. These discoveries, while never revealing the ultimate prize, provide tantalizing glimpses into what has been carefully hidden for centuries. They serve as proof that the map is more than myth, a document of extraordinary design whose hints can be traced across time, geography, and human effort. One of the earliest notable discoveries occurred in the Mediterranean during the 17th century, when a small group of explorers reported finding a series of subterranean chambers beneath an abandoned fortress. Though the chambers contained no treasure in the conventional sense, they were filled with meticulously arranged artifacts, engraved stones, coded manuscripts, and symbols matching those found on the secret map. This find suggested a deliberate and organized attempt to safeguard knowledge, creating a breadcrumb trail for those able to decode its meaning. Contemporary historians argue that these chambers functioned as both repository and test, ensuring that only those with intellect, patience, and insight could advance toward the map's ultimate secret. Fragments of the map itself have been recovered at various points in history. Some sections were discovered tucked into ancient libraries, hidden within book bindings, or encoded into marginalia of scholarly works. These fragments often required reconstruction, as pieces were separated by decades or even centuries. The process of piecing them together was akin to solving a multidimensional puzzle, demanding not only careful observation but also cross-referencing with historical, geographic, and symbolic knowledge. Each fragment revealed additional layers of complexity, cryptic lines, celestial symbols, and coded letters, reinforcing the idea that the map's construction was deliberately modular, allowing pieces to survive independently while still maintaining the larger mystery. In addition to physical fragments, explorers have uncovered anecdotal evidence and oral traditions that corroborate the map's guidance. Remote villages, isolated tribes, and long-forgotten communities have preserved stories of strange landmarks, hidden caves, and rivers that shift with the seasons. These oral accounts, passed down across generations, often align with symbolic or geographic clues on the map, suggesting a deliberate network of knowledge preservation. While such fragments rarely lead directly to treasure, they provide crucial verification, hinting at the map's authenticity and underscoring its intricate design. Several modern expeditions have yielded objects that seem to be remnants of the treasure's trail. Ancient coins, ceremonial artifacts, and cryptic carvings have been found in locations corresponding to the map's coded instructions. In some cases, these artifacts were accompanied by inscriptions or symbols pointing to further clues, suggesting a carefully orchestrated cascade of discovery intended to guide seekers step by step. These fragments function like keys in a layered puzzle, offering insight into the map's methodology and the sophisticated foresight of its creator. Notable discoveries also include astronomical markers that align with certain map locations. Historical observations indicate that the map's celestial symbols were not decorative but functional, providing guidance for specific times and locations. For instance, a cluster of stones in a remote valley may only reveal its significance during a particular lunar alignment or planetary conjunction. Such findings demonstrate the map's complexity, blending practical navigation with esoteric knowledge. Explorers who fail to consider these astronomical clues risk misinterpreting the path entirely, underscoring the intellectual as well as physical demands of the journey. Occasionally, discoveries have suggested that the treasure itself may have been divided or concealed in multiple stages. Fragments uncovered in Europe, North Africa, and Central Asia hint at a deliberate dispersion, designed to challenge seekers across both distance and intellect. The treasure may not exist in a single, accessible location, but rather as a network of hidden caches, each connected symbolically or geographically, requiring synthesis of multiple clues to uncover the greater whole. This structure reinforces the map's role as a test, ensuring that only those capable of integrating history, geography, and symbolism can approach the final prize. The significance of these discoveries extends beyond material wealth. Many artifacts hint at hidden knowledge. Manuscripts containing coded instructions, philosophical treatises, and alchemical symbols. These fragments suggest that the map's purpose was not purely financial, but intellectual and spiritual. The treasure, in this light, represents mastery of knowledge as much as gold or jewels, a reward reserved for those capable of understanding both the physical and esoteric dimensions of the map. Notable discoveries also illuminate the map's enduring influence across cultures. Similar symbols, patterns, and methods appear in regions far removed from the map's assumed origin, hinting at a transnational network of knowledge transmission. Trade routes, scholarly exchanges, and secret societies may have facilitated the dissemination of encoded guidance, creating a web of interconnected fragments that survive to this day. This reinforces the map's sophistication, demonstrating that it was never meant to be a straightforward guide, but a multi-layered instrument bridging geography, history, and human intellect. Even when discoveries fail to yield the ultimate treasure, they serve as milestones for seekers, providing insight into the map's construction and the methodologies of past explorers. Each fragment, artifact, or verified location is a testament to the map's enduring power, a reminder that history, legend, and human ingenuity are inextricably intertwined. The cumulative effect of these discoveries strengthens the narrative of pursuit, reinforcing both the map's authenticity and its capacity to challenge and transform those who engage with it. In essence, the notable discoveries, whether physical artifacts, textual fragments, or corroborative oral traditions, act as breadcrumbs through the centuries. They validate the map's existence, demonstrate its complexity, and illustrate the sophistication of its design. They also highlight the dual nature of the treasure. It is at once material and intellectual, tangible and symbolic, immediate and layered across time. To follow these fragments is to participate in a continuum of discovery, linking generations of seekers in a shared endeavor of patience, observation, and insight. The fragmented nature of the treasure underscores the map's ultimate challenge. Each find is a piece of a larger mosaic, a clue pointing toward a destination that remains frustratingly out of reach. Yet these fragments are not mere distractions. They are integral components of the pursuit, each contributing to understanding, each testing skill and perception, and each offering a glimpse into the genius and foresight of the map's creator. They serve as both proof and puzzle, a delicate balance between revelation and concealment that sustains the mystery across centuries. Ultimately, these notable discoveries remind seekers that the journey itself is as significant as the destination. The map is not a simple route to wealth, but an evolving challenge, where every fragment recovered, every symbol interpreted, and every site explored contributes to a deeper understanding of history, knowledge, and human ingenuity. The treasure, whether material or symbolic, exists within this continuum, inviting seekers to navigate not just geography, but the hidden layers of time, intellect, and perception. With centuries of discovery, exploration, and analysis, the secret map continues to inspire a multitude of theories and speculations. Scholars, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists alike have attempted to interpret its meaning, origins, and ultimate purpose, often arriving at radically different conclusions. Some posit that the map is purely a practical guide, a clever synthesis of geography and navigation intended to lead to physical treasure. Others argue that it is an intellectual and spiritual puzzle, designed to test human perception, morality, and intellect, rather than merely pointing to gold or jewels. One prominent theory suggests that the map was created by an advanced but secretive society, perhaps one whose knowledge surpassed that of mainstream civilization at the time. Proponents of this view cite the map's intricate symbolism, astronomical references, and cross-cultural echoes as evidence that its creator possessed a level of knowledge that would have been extraordinary for its era. Some even speculate that the map incorporates principles of lost sciences or esoteric knowledge, blending empirical observation with mystical insight to create a tool that transcends conventional cartography. Another line of speculation concerns the treasure itself. While some maintain it is a hoard of gold, jewels, or other material wealth, others argue for a more abstract reward: hidden knowledge, lost manuscripts, or even powerful artifacts of historical and spiritual significance. Ancient alchemical symbols on a map, coupled with cryptic literary references, suggest that the true prize may be intellectual or metaphysical rather than material. In this interpretation, the map is less a guide to riches and more a test of wisdom, patience, and discernment, offering profound insight to those capable of fully understanding its complexity. Some theorists propose that the map's greatest secret is temporal rather than spatial. The positioning of celestial symbols, seasonal references, and historical alignments may indicate that the treasure or its revelations are accessible only at specific times, some potentially centuries apart. This theory aligns with historical accounts of seekers who returned empty-handed, despite following the map's instructions, only to be thwarted by timing. The map, in this view, functions as a living document, interacting dynamically with history and the cosmos to guide the worthy while confounding the impatient. Speculation also extends to the map's origin. Certain scholars suggest it may have been compiled from multiple sources, combining the knowledge of explorers, secret societies, and scholars across generations. If true, this would explain its sophisticated layering. The map is not a single creation, but a composite, carefully crafted to survive time while remaining decipherable only to those with insight and perseverance. The combination of myth, observation, and encoded logic indicates deliberate intention, rather than random or accidental design, reinforcing the idea that the map is as much a work of intellectual art as it is a guide. Another intriguing theory involves the map's role in human psychology and perception. Some researchers suggest that the map was intended to shape the mind as much as to direct the body. By embedding challenges, symbolic layers, and potential misdirection, the map cultivates patience, observation, and discernment. In this sense, the map is both a physical tool and a cognitive test, a method of filtering seekers by intellectual and moral capacity. Those who fail may do so not from lack of effort, but from inability to interpret the nuanced interplay of geography, symbolism, and historical reference. The map's cross-cultural echoes have also fueled speculation. Similar symbols, coded letters, and geographic references appear in disparate civilizations, from the Mediterranean to Central Asia. This suggests that the knowledge embedded in the map may have been preserved and transmitted across cultures, perhaps by traveling scholars, merchants, or secretive networks. Some theorists argue that the map was intended as a universal guide, accessible to any seeker capable of bridging cultural, linguistic, and intellectual divides. Its fragmented transmission over centuries may reflect both the difficulty of preservation and a deliberate effort to maintain secrecy. Conspiracy theories have naturally gravitated to the map. Some propose that powerful institutions, religious organizations, or secret societies deliberately suppressed its secrets to maintain control over knowledge or wealth. Historical accounts of lost expeditions, mysterious disappearances, and ambiguous discoveries lend credence to these suspicions. Whether these theories are factual or speculative, they highlight the enduring aura of secrecy surrounding the map and its capacity to inspire intrigue, fear, and ambition. The map's layers of encoding have also inspired mathematical and cryptographic speculation. Researchers have attempted to identify patterns, sequences, and formulas within its symbols, hoping to crack codes that span centuries. Some suggest that the map incorporates principles of sacred geometry, Fibonacci sequences, or other mathematical structures to conceal or reveal information. These interpretations often intersect with astronomical or geographic clues, creating a multidimensional puzzle that challenges intellect and imagination alike. Finally, the human element remains central to all speculation. Some argue that the map is less about the treasure and more about the journey, the pursuit itself shaping the seeker. Obsession, perseverance, and moral decision-making are tested, suggesting that the map's true purpose is educational, philosophical, or spiritual. In this view, the map rewards growth as much as discovery, creating a transformative experience for those brave enough to engage fully with its enigmas. Ultimately, these theories and speculations underscore the map's enduring fascination. Whether viewed as a practical guide, a spiritual test, or a cryptic artifact of lost knowledge, the map continues to challenge, intrigue, and captivate. Each new theory opens a fresh lens through which to interpret its mysteries, inviting seekers to consider history, human ingenuity, and the unknown in equal measure. The map is a mirror reflecting centuries of curiosity, ambition, and imagination, as well as a testament to the human desire to uncover that which is hidden. In essence, speculation sustains the map's mythos. Every interpretation, whether scholarly, adventurous, or conspiratorial, reinforces its allure, ensuring that the pursuit of its secrets remains a living endeavor. It is a puzzle, a test, and a story that transcends time, bridging past and present, intellect and intuition, reality and imagination. The hidden truths behind the map, while never fully revealed, continue to inspire generations of seekers, each adding their own conjectures, discoveries, and theories to the map's unfolding legend.
Throughout history, the secret map has never existed in isolation. Its survival, preservation, and continued mystique suggest the influence of hidden societies, organizations operating in the shadows, safeguarding knowledge deemed too powerful or dangerous for public access. These groups, often operating across generations and continents, have been implicated in the map's creation, maintenance, and dissemination. Their role is enigmatic yet central. They are guardians, interpreters, and occasionally obstacles to the seekers who dare to follow the map's intricate paths. Historical accounts hint at the existence of these societies, often cloaked in secrecy and ritual. Medieval chronicles reference brotherhoods of scholars, alchemists, and navigators who held knowledge of the world's hidden passages, protected by oaths, symbols, and elaborate codes. They were believed to control access to maps, manuscripts, and secret routes, sharing information only with trusted initiates. The map itself may have been one of the most closely guarded tools within such networks, its distribution carefully regulated to prevent misuse or unworthy hands from uncovering the treasure. Some researchers propose that the map's symbolic complexity is directly linked to the methods of these societies. Allegorical imagery, geometric patterns, and layered symbols serve as both guidance and protection, ensuring that only those trained in the society's interpretive methods can progress. For centuries, the secret societies functioned as the ultimate gatekeepers, balancing dissemination with concealment, preserving knowledge while simultaneously testing the intellectual, moral, and spiritual capacity of potential seekers. Evidence of these societies' involvement surfaces in scattered historical references. Manuscripts from the Mediterranean, Europe, and North Africa contain cryptic annotations, signatures, or symbols consistent with known secret orders. Some explorers' journals note encounters with mysterious figures who provided obscure guidance, hints, or warnings, often with the implication that they were members of a protective network. These interactions were rarely direct or complete. The society's preference for subtle influence maintained the map's aura of mystery while ensuring continuity of its guardianship. The role of secrecy extended beyond mere protection. It was a form of education. The societies appear to have designed the map as a multi-layered test, evaluating the seeker's intellect, patience, and character. Initiates had to demonstrate not only skill in decoding symbols, but also moral integrity, perseverance, and the ability to synthesize disparate forms of knowledge. Those who failed were often met with misfortune, misdirection, or dead ends, an indirect method of filtering unworthy seekers, while preserving the integrity of the treasure's concealment. Certain societies may have also influenced historical expeditions. Account of early explorers encountering sudden obstacles, vanishing companions, or misleading clues may reflect a subtle intervention of guardians. In some cases, societies appear to have left intentional markers, hidden inscriptions, altered paths, or symbolic artifacts, designed to guide or test seekers while maintaining plausible deniability. This complex system of oversight created a layered and dynamic network, where secrecy, knowledge, and challenge coexisted to ensure the treasure remained beyond casual discovery. Oral tradition suggests that some secret societies viewed the map not solely as a guide to material wealth, but as a tool for intellectual and spiritual development. The act of pursuit itself, decoding symbols, interpreting literary references, and navigating hidden geography, was considered transformative. By controlling access and preserving the map's integrity, these societies ensure that seekers engage fully with the process, experiencing growth and enlightenment even if the treasure remained elusive. In this sense, the guardianship was as much about shaping human potential as it was about preserving physical secrets. The influence of secret societies persists into modern times. Contemporary explorers report encountering anomalies, sudden restrictions, interference, or unexpected challenges that suggest an ongoing effort to protect the map's mysteries. Some believe that remnants of these organizations continue to operate discreetly, maintaining knowledge of the map and its associated clues, and subtly guiding or obstructing seekers. This continuity bridges centuries, linking medieval custodians to modern guardians, reinforcing the map's aura of living mystery. The methods of these societies were often sophisticated and multi-layered. Beyond symbolic and literary encoding, they appear to have used social networks, trade routes, and scholarly institutions to preserve and transmit knowledge. Dispersed fragments of the map, annotations in manuscripts, and oral traditions were intentionally scattered, creating a system in which information could survive across time and geography without being concentrated in any single location. The result is a resilient framework that protects the treasure while engaging seekers in an intricate and ongoing intellectual challenge. Interestingly, secret societies also appear to have manipulated perception and belief. Tales of curses, vanishing explorers, and dangerous paths may have been partially constructed to enhance the map's mystique and regulate the behavior of seekers. By shaping narratives of fear, awe, and respect, the Guardians ensured that the pursuit remained disciplined, deliberate, and ethically guided. In this way, legend and reality intertwine, with societal influence embedded directly into the culture of pursuit itself. Some theories suggest that the map's guardianship was not static but adaptive, evolving as civilizations, knowledge, and technologies changed. The methods used to protect or transmit the map may have shifted over centuries, from encoded manuscripts to oral traditions, cryptic annotations, or hidden artifacts, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of cultural, technological, and historical dynamics. This adaptability underscores the Guardian's commitment to preserving the treasure while simultaneously challenging the ingenuity and perception of successive generations of seekers. Ultimately, the presence of hidden societies reinforces the map's layered significance. It is not merely a physical or symbolic artifact. It is part of a continuum of stewardship, a testament to human ingenuity, secrecy, and moral engagement. The societies function as protectors, educators, and arbiters, shaping both the journey and the seekers themselves. Their influence ensures that the map remains more than a simple route to treasure. It is a living, dynamic enigma, entwined with human history, intellect, and ambition. In conclusion, understanding the role of secret societies provides a critical lens through which to interpret the map's enduring mystery. These guardians ensured that knowledge, wealth, and discovery were never easily accessible, demanding patience, wisdom, and ethical consideration. By intertwining secrecy, symbolism, and challenge, they transformed pursuit into an intellectual and moral journey, one whose lessons persist as vividly today as they did centuries ago. The map, in the hands of these custodians, remains not only a path to treasure but a testament to the enduring interplay of secrecy, knowledge, and human aspiration.
After centuries of pursuit, countless expeditions, and endless speculation, the journey reaches its pivotal moment, the revelation of the map's final secrets. This climactic stage is not merely a geographical discovery. It is a convergence of history, intellect, intuition, and perseverance. The treasure, wherever it lies, is inseparable from the journey itself, the layered clues, and the insights gained from every fragment, every warning, and every discovery along the way. In this final phase, the map's purpose becomes clear, not as a simple guide to wealth, but as a multidimensional test of human ingenuity and determination. Modern seekers approaching the final clues experience a heightened sense of tension as the culmination of decades or even centuries of research draws near. Every symbol, every inscription, every literary reference gains renewed significance. Observers note that the final locations are often subtle and obscured, marked by natural phenomena or changes in terrain that could be easily overlooked. Waterways shift, shadows fall differently, and celestial alignments play their part, emphasizing that the map's design is both temporal and spatial. The seeker must now integrate all previously gathered knowledge, historical, symbolic, technological, and intuitive, to navigate these last steps. The path toward revelation often intersects with dramatic natural landscapes, hidden valleys, mist-shrouded cliffs, and caves concealed by centuries of erosion or vegetation. Such locations are deliberately challenging to access, a reflection of the mapmaker's understanding of human psychology and determination. Success is not guaranteed by intelligence alone. It requires endurance, courage, and careful observation. Modern explorers have reported moments of both awe and apprehension as they encounter these landscapes, sensing the centuries of anticipation and failure that preceded them. The final stage of the pursuit is thus as much an emotional and spiritual journey as a physical one. Symbolic interpretation reaches its peak in this stage. Celestial references, alchemical symbols, and encoded letters converge to form a coherent pattern that has been invisible until the seeker synthesizes all previous fragments. The map's final secrets often emerge only when historical knowledge, literary decoding, and perceptual insight are perfectly aligned. In this sense, the treasure cannot be approached linearly. It requires a holistic understanding that reflects the mapmaker's genius. The culmination is therefore both a reward and a revelation. Those who reach this stage are not merely following directions. They're engaging with centuries of accumulated human knowledge and creativity. Some accounts suggest that the final treasure is intentionally ambiguous, designed to challenge expectations. Material wealth may be part of the revelation, but so too is intellectual and spiritual insight. Seekers report encountering ancient manuscripts, celestial markers, or symbolic arrangements that provide profound understanding of history, human nature, and the principles governing the map's design. The ultimate reward in this interpretation is layered, tangible discovery intertwined with comprehension, reflection, and the satisfaction of decoding a centuries-old enigma. The climactic stage also illuminates the map's protective mechanisms. Curses, warnings, and obstacles often intensify near the end, testing both resolve and morality. Modern explorers have recounted sudden equipment failures, unexpected weather phenomena, or psychological pressure precisely when success seemed imminent. Such challenges reinforce the map's design as a multidimensional test, one that evaluates every aspect of the seeker: patience, intelligence, intuition, and ethical judgment. The final stage is therefore both the ultimate trial and the ultimate revelation, encapsulating the essence of the map itself. Collaboration and guidance frequently play a decisive role. Seekers who integrate insights from historical research, literary analysis, and technological mapping tend to succeed where solitary efforts fail. This echoes the influence of hidden societies, suggesting that the map's design encourages synthesis, cooperation, and careful deliberation. In this final phase, the journey becomes a testament to the interconnectedness of human knowledge, linking the efforts of past seekers with contemporary discovery in a single continuum of pursuit. The culmination of the journey often carries profound emotional resonance. Reaching the final secret is not merely an intellectual achievement. It is a confrontation with history, time, and human aspiration. Seekers describe a sense of awe at understanding the complexity and foresight embedded in the map, marveling at the ingenuity of a creator who anticipated centuries of human curiosity and perseverance. The treasure's revelation, whether material or symbolic, is inseparable from this experience, a testament to the enduring power of mystery, intellect, and human determination. In some climactic accounts, the treasure's location is revealed through subtle interaction with natural elements. The angle of sunlight through a cavern, the alignment of stones at dawn, or the reflection of celestial bodies on water. These mechanisms emphasize the mapmaker's understanding of both physical and temporal factors, blending geography, astronomy, and symbolism into a single, elegant system. Success depends on the seeker's ability to perceive these connections, reinforcing the notion that the map rewards holistic comprehension rather than brute force or isolated observation. The final secrets also provide closure to centuries of speculation, connecting fragmented discoveries, literary references, and anecdotal evidence into a coherent narrative. Locations identified by previous seekers, fragments of manuscripts, and oral traditions coalesce, validating historical accounts while demonstrating the map's sophisticated construction. This convergence not only satisfies the practical pursuit of treasure, but also illuminates the intellectual and historical ingenuity behind it, revealing a story of human ambition, perseverance, and creativity that transcends generations. Ultimately, the climax of the journey affirms that the secret map is far more than a simple guide. It is a multidimensional instrument, part physical, part intellectual, part spiritual. Its design tests every facet of human ability, rewarding those capable of integrating history, symbolism, observation, and morality. The final revelation, whether material, intellectual, or symbolic, represents the culmination of centuries of effort and curiosity, an enduring testament to the map's power and the human drive to uncover what is hidden. The climactic stage, therefore, is both an ending and a beginning. It resolves the centuries-old pursuit while simultaneously inspiring new generations to engage with the mystery, to explore the layered complexities of history, knowledge, and human ambition. The map's secrets, once unveiled, offer insight not only into a hidden treasure, but into the nature of discovery itself, the patience, perception, and courage required to engage fully with the unknown. In this sense, the final revelation is as much about human experience as it is about the treasure, leaving seekers transformed, enlightened, and eternally connected to the centuries-spanning journey of the map.